You're now watching the Mike Missanelli podcast on the BetRivers Network.
It is now time for Mike Unleashed. I got a lot of things to talk about on Mike Unleashed. I want to start with college football. The Big Ten stinks. Right? There's only two teams that are worth watching, and sometimes Penn State. I can't even put them in the must-watch category. But there are only three teams that really, when they're on their TV screen, you venture in. And it's Michigan and Ohio State, and they had an epic battle, and Ohio State just couldn't get it done. And here's the beauty of this whole thing. Is Ryan Day can't beat Michigan. And now the Wolves are out at Ohio State. So this is the difference between Penn State and Ohio State fans. Ohio State fans don't stand for this. The guy's lost 7 games. He's like 53-7, Ryan Day, as a head coach at Ohio State. But when you can't beat Michigan, everybody goes, he needs to be fired. Got to get him out of there. It doesn't matter how good you are. See, Jim Tressel, who cheated his ass off, beat Michigan. So did Urban Meyer beat Michigan. John Cooper, before those guys, was a good coach, couldn't beat Michigan. He was out on his ass. So Ryan Day is close to being out on his ass. Conversely, Penn State can't beat Michigan or Ohio State. They give the Penn State coach an 8-year contract, and they go, no, we're going to the Citrus Bowl. That is the difference in the fan bases.
It is surprising, too.
Yeah, it is.
It's really surprising, Mike, that Penn State's fan base. And, I'm one of them, but I don't care about the Citrus Bowl. I mean, they should be competing for
I got a Maurice Claret tweet up, and hold on a second. It's going audio here. So let me get let me get this out. He just wants to drop a message that he's disgusted. Now, Maurice Claret, one of the all-time running backs, came out and went crazy on the Ohio State program for them not being able to beat Michigan, and they said you need to make a change. This is Maurice Claret, all right? So Penn State, they go, even Penn State loves, like LeVar Arrington came out and lauded James Franklin the other day. And I'm going, Maurice Claret just came out and buried him, right? Ohio State is now, he's persona non grata at Ohio State because of what he did. I get it. But it's an important player coming out and burying the program for not beating Michigan. LeVar Arrington comes out the other day and praising James Franklin to holy heaven. And then 2 days later, LeVar Arrington Jr. tweets out that, thank you for the offer to Penn State. I'm going, oh, come on, LeVar. How could you do me like that? You're gonna laud the head coach because your kid's getting a scholarship from him?
For LeVar.
All right.
One other team I'll bring in the Big Ten, and I love Big Ten football normally. You're right, it's terrible right now. But I love watching these Iowa games just to see if the under hits every week. I mean, you watch the game.
Man, you brought that up.
What's that?
Because one of my plays of the week last week.
Yeah.
Of course, it was Memphis over Temple, which was like stealing money.
Right.
But I did take Nebraska over Iowa because Nebraska was a favorite in the game. And I thought, boy, that's really strange. I was going to the championship game in the Big Ten. They're in that crappy division part of it, and they're going to get killed by Michigan. But they're still, impressive. Well, why is Nebraska a favorite? I'm going, So I backed that game. I played the game, and I'm watching the game, and it's painful to watch. It really is. That game, those two teams are terrible. They're defensive-oriented teams where the offense can't move the ball.
Yeah.
The quarterback for Nebraska, did you see who it was?
Yes. And
Nebraska's quarterback?
It's somebody's kid.
It's Brock Purdy's brother.
Purdy's brother. Yes, that's right. You and I talked about this, right?
Chubba Purdy.
Chubba Purdy.
His real name's Preston. So they call him Chubba Purdy. So I'm watching the game. Oh, look here. It's 10-10 now, mind you. Okay, Nebraska is driving down for a field goal that will win the game. They are at the Iowa. They're at the 48-yard line. They're at midfield with 31 seconds to go. All they need is 15 more yards. Chubba throws an interception where he doesn't see the linebacker, and Iowa intercepts the ball, comes down, and wins the game with a field goal. Chubba, come on, man! What are you doing to me? I'm inches away from winning the game. And people are going to go, I could just imagine people, Mike had that Nebraska game. He had to win. and Chubba snatches it from me. Damn it.
One of my best friends, his daughter goes to Iowa, so he has this shirt. It says, "At Iowa, we bet the under." Did you see the two guys in the stands? There were two guys that had T-shirts on, had the same shirt, and the shirt just said, "At Iowa hats on," and the shirt had one word on it. It said "punts." That's a great shirt.
All right.
Yeah, the over-under was 25.5, and of course, the under hit.
All right, so two quick things. One, Saturday, I want to just throw this out to you. It really irritates me when people do this. So I'm headed to the golf course because on Saturday, we have our final tournament of the year. It's called the Mean 18. And the Mean 18 is where they put all these impossible pin placements, where they'll put it on a hill. You can't get close to the pin. You wind up 8-putting and the whole bit. It's just the course is all tricked up. First of all, I just want to say my team won the tournament with a 15 underscore.
Wow.
In 40-degree weather. Okay. So yeah, I want to say, I want to give a shout out to the Volgraffs, father and son, who were part of my team, and a guy named Chris, who was my fourth. I just hooked on with these guys. I didn't know them before the round. We hooked up. It was a scramble. We were just on fire, and we wound up winning the whole thing at 15 under. But that's not pertinent to the story. I'm on my way to the golf course, and I'm going down this kind of a country road, and two joggers, but the woman is in front of the man. And she comes out from a side street making a wide turn where her body takes her onto the road that I'm traveling. She has the guts to give me the slow down sign. Now, she makes a wide turn into the road, and she looks at me, slow down.
Unreal.
Now, what do you do? What do you do with that?
You can't do anything, but I will add that there's no human on the planet that annoys me more than a runner. They're psychopaths. There's nothing enjoyable.
The woman obviously is more competitive than me because she's turning. She's ahead of the guy, and she gives me the slow down thing. And I turn. My instinct is to turn and I want fungul you.
Fangulo. That's what
I gave her the fungul you.
Oh man, I hate runners. You're not athletes.
Okay. Last thing I want to bring up to you before we close this down, the Mike Unleashed. So boy, Showtime was playing a trick on me. And a lot of people who watched The Godfather series. They were running during the Thanksgiving Day, few days holiday. They were running Godfather 1 against Godfather 2 at the same time on Showtime Extreme. I guess one was the West Coast, one was not. I put it out on Twitter. 1 and 2 are on at the same time. Which one are you hitting?
Most of my life, I would have gone 2, but I recently have an adoration for 1 a little bit more. So I probably would have gone 1.
Okay. I always go 1. Interestingly enough, the consensus on Twitter was that 2 was a better movie. I don't think it is. Listen, I will say this about 2. It's fuller.
Yeah.
Because they get into the Italian part and them growing up and
him young in New York is
in New York and the whole bit.
Right.
But 1 is so originally brilliant that I can't give deference to 2. And if you give deference to 2, and a lot of people go, well, because of De Niro. Okay, but I give deference to 1 because Sonny Corleone was one of the great characters ever, and he was in 1. Luca Brasi was in 1. Barzini and all those creeps. You would miss so much. Yeah. That it wasn't into the original story, so I always prefer 1 over 2 every time, every day of the week. In fact, 1 is my favorite movie of all time. I have 2, like maybe in the top 5, maybe. Usually, I have it 6th. It's brilliant, but it doesn't give me as much satisfaction as 1. And I like the part. I like these obscure parts in 1, and I like the part where Sonny, because how much this is something that everybody's wanted to do. Like Sonny Corleone goes out in the parking lot at the wedding, and he sees the FBI guys, and they're taking the license plate, and the guy's taking photos and the whole bit. And he grabs the guy's camera and he smashes it down. But he has enough integrity to dip in his pocket, pull out a wad of cash, and flick a couple hundreds out.
Yeah, he replaced it.
Yeah. That's not the best.
Here's the bill. Send me the bill. Here you go.
There you go. I'm going to bust you up, but here, I feel bad. Here, get yourself a new camera later on.
Love it.
The greatest.
One thing we're going to do, by the way, in the off season when there's not a lot of sports going on, you and I are going to do an entire podcast. We are going to make the definitive movie list. We're going to go 10 comedy, 10 non-comedy. We're gonna debate this, and we're going to decide what the 10 best.
All right, my top 5 has never changed, so I'm settled on my top 5. All right, we'll do that at a later date. Thanks everybody for listening and watching today. The day after Eagles game, always an interesting podcast, and we appreciate you listening. Don't forget to tell your friends and neighbors you can subscribe for free, and you'll get the podcast that comes right to you. It's brought to us by the great people at BetRivers. You can reach me email at mike@mikemiss.com, on Twitter at mikemiss25. If you want a Cameo shout out for the holidays, go to cameo.com, research my name. I'll give you a personal shout out. And I guess that's about it. Anything from you, Darren? We all good?
No, we're good. We're back, I think, Thursday this week.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you then, everybody. Have a great rest of the week. It's gotten more fallish. It's getting a little, it's gray, and it's one of those type of deals as we get into December. Hopefully everybody did some shopping, cyber shopping with all those great deals where you didn't have to go out and run into each other. But this is shopping season right now. So be safe.
My house looks like Gimbals right now. I got a Christmas tree in every room, I think.
You got the Christmas tree set up already?
We got our tree. We got the real tree on Sunday morning. Went the family trip out to the Indiana farm in Medford and got the tree cut and all that. And then I have like a fake tree by the fireplace. I got another tree in the foyer. It just my kids are young now.
You really live in the hood, man. Going out to the Christmas tree farms. That's really the hood you live in.
My kids are young, man. I got the house has got to look like Gimbals every year.
All right, folks.
Have
a great day. We'll check you now later in the week. For Darren, I'm Mike on the Mike Missanelli podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you. Bye-bye.